So you've just got home from work or a busy day running errands, chaperoning kids here and there, after school activities, doing the supermarket shop. All the things we do as busy mums and parents. And if you are anything like me at the end of the day, low on energy and motivation, and would love to be the cat or the dog right now, all curled up and napping, what are the habits, routines, things we can do to help the evening and the next morning run more smoothly? What are the actions we can take where our past self is going to set our future self for a win? Starting with the two things that I absolutely do not do when I get home from work. Firstly, I do not get into pajamas. I will either get half changed out of my uniform if I haven't had any physical contact with people on that day, or I will just get into something casual. But getting into pajamas, I think, is a signal to your brain that work time is over and it's time to rest. And for me, it is even more of a motivation and energy killer. And the second thing I don't recommend doing is to sit down and get comfy. Oh gosh, this really is the end to anything productive happening if you do this. My kids love coming home, getting into pajamas and getting into bed. But I know for me, if I sit down and start scrolling on my phone or turn the TV on or get out my book, it just eats into so much time that I could be using much more wisely and beneficial. But there are things that we can do when we get home from work. These are habits and routines, easy actions we can take that will not only help us in the present and for tomorrow, but also help with any feelings of overwhelm generally. As the saying goes, if we fail to plan, then we plan to fail. And I certainly know this to be true when it comes to home organisation. So the first thing I usually do is to address the state of my kitchen, as it's the first area you see when you come into my home. And I also want a clean, uncluttered area for when it comes to cooking dinner. My strategy when I get home is to identify and prioritise the actions that are going to benefit all of us in the household the most, and to also get appliances working for me so I can then move on to other tasks while they are working. I think you also will be planning out these actions in your head, but you just don't realise that you are naturally doing it every day. These priorities are going to look different for each of our families, and you know the ones that are going to give you the most bang for your buck in your own home. I unload the dishwasher and get the dishwasher working again on any dishes left from the day. My teenagers are in and out over the day, so there is always an accumulation of dishes. Clutter and food items on the bench get cleared away and put back to where they belong. We are on the last official day of summer here in New Zealand, and the weather has been so warm, but it means that flies are everywhere still. They are incredibly annoying. So the surfaces get a good wipe down as well. The second thing I prioritise to do after work is to recycle a load of laundry per day. So usually I have tried to put a wash on in the morning before I head off to work, or one of the kids will have put a load on. Sometimes they do need a reminder, but generally they are pretty good at helping out with this task. The goal with managing washing is to have a revolving daily cycle of wash, hang out to dry, fold, and distribute to each person's room. Once the clothing gets into the kids' rooms, I don't care whether they choose to put it away or not. It's up to them to be in charge of their own clothes, and that's their responsibility. If the kids are here, then often I will say, right, everyone down to the laundry. And if we all chip in, it's done in no time at all. But the washing machine is another appliance that you can get working for you while you attend to other tasks. The next action I would take, and again it includes getting an appliance working for us, is to get dinner on early. Now, even better, if you have been organised enough to get your slow cooker on in the morning or have batch cooked a meal and it's just waiting to be reheated in the oven. It's such a relief, isn't it, to know that dinner is already sorted if you have done it this way, especially if you are exhausted from a busy work day. But if you do need to cook, I would suggest getting started on this early in the routine of the evening when your motivation is going to be higher. This is an incredibly easy, high protein, cost effective and tasty meal I'm making here. It's like a crustless quiche, I guess, but I'm just beating 12 eggs together and adding in garlic, herbs, grated cheese, salt, pepper, and frozen vegetables. You could add in onions, fresh vegetables, other cold meats, tomatoes, olives. It's very versatile. Mix it all together, and then I put it into a cast iron pan lined with baking paper, which will just make it easier for the cleanup afterwards. These cast iron pans can go straight into the oven as is, but you could also put the mixture into a baking dish as well. That would work fine. Cook it until risen and golden brown on top at about 200 degrees Celsius. I cooked this for probably about half an hour, and it can be eaten for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. The next thing I try to do after work is to move my body in some way. Of course, a lot of the time, this is the last thing I feel like doing, but I know if I do, the benefits will far outweigh any feeling of not wanting to expend any more energy. It's almost like a cruel phenomenon, isn't it? That we actually have to expend energy to gain energy, but it's true. Like me, you may have a dog that needs walking, or you may choose to go for a run or do an exercise activity in your own home. You could use your time strategically and go out while dinner is cooking or while you are waiting for another appliance to do its job. But whatever you choose to do, it will give you a great hit of positive hormones, which is wonderful for our mental health and well-being. Another habit that's beneficial to incorporate into your daily routine is as soon as you get home from work, to do any tasks that have to be done, ones that you know you will be too tired to do later. These things are going to look different for each person and family. So for me, this includes things like taking the dog out, cleaning the 2 cat litter trays that get used every night, and taking off my makeup even. For you, it might be having an everything shower or helping a child with reading or homework. But just whatever those tasks are, that you know that if they aren't done straight after you get home, they either will be a huge effort later in the evening or just won't get done at all. The next thing I try to do each day is to tackle a clutter zone for 5 to 10 minutes. We all have these areas in our homes where a particular surface, usually it's a table or kitchen bench space, just gets all the mail and school newsletters and items from school bags, keys, etc. dumped on them. It's actually a symptom of not having a system in place for these items or a permanent home for them. But if you watch my video on decluttering when you feel overwhelmed, I'll link it up the top here, you will see that it can be kept on top of if you spend a little time each day managing the clutter. So I'm just putting food items away, going through mail and other random things on my table that need organising. You don't have to spend a lot of time on this. 5 to 10 minutes each day will make a huge positive impact in your home. This next thing I like to do each evening is to get out my calendar and sit down with my emails open and write a to-do list, address any emails and bills, and put significant information onto the calendar. This family calendar is fantastic. I do like to see things written down. It has space across the top for a tab for each family member, and then on each day I can just write in what is going on for each person. Information and dates from school emails can just get transferred over to the calendar. I find regularly taking these actions clears a lot of the overwhelm I feel in my head, because I know that I'm up to date with accounts, emails, things going on with the kids' work schedules, paydays. The list could go on, but at least the list is written down somewhere rather than me trying, and quite often failing, to remember it all in the perimenopausal filing system of my brain. Another action I know to help my future self so much is to do some kind of food prep each evening after work. So for my family, I try to have breakfast prepared for the next few days in advance. So I know that everyone is having a decent start to the day, and I'm always nagging the kids to do their lunch boxes for the next day. I try to have enough leftovers from dinner to take for my own lunch. My son likes the protein overnight oats that I make for my breakfasts, and one of my daughters likes protein pancakes, which can be made ahead easily as well. And they are more than old enough to be able to help with this prep. These two actions make the following morning run so much smoother and less stressful, for me anyway. But you might find it helpful to have veggies prepped for snacks or lunch boxes, potatoes peeled for the following day, make ahead muffins and put them into the freezer. You will be so grateful that you have done any of it. Number 9 is to set your clothes out for the next day, or any item that is going to mean you don't have the angst the following morning of trying to find it. Set out your uniform or work clothes. Have a pair of socks ready to put on, and know where your shoes and bags are. It's such an easy thing to do, but it just makes the flow of the next morning so much easier, and you're not being asked, "Mum, where is my school top?" and "Mum, I can't find my shoes." It's just a simple visual task you can do to help your future self. And when you get home from work or a hectic day out, delegate, delegate, delegate. If you are not the only one living in your household, then the burden of all there is to do in your home should not be all on your shoulders. There are many age-appropriate chores that family members can help with and be part of the household team. Teenagers can help with feeding and walking animals, emptying rubbish bins, taking out recycling, doing dishes, cleaning and laundry tasks. The list is endless with what you can delegate out. Even though we are super mums most of the time, it doesn't mean we should be. I hope this video has helped someone. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch. Let me know in the comments what you like to do after work to help your future self. Have a great week ahead, everyone. Bye.